What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on EI Entertainment Studios, back at it with another debate episode. So today's debate episode is going to be based on Godzilla 2017 versus Legendary Space Godzilla. But before we do start with this video, I want to give a quick special shout out to Lee Humphreys. And if you want your own shout out, go ahead and just ask for it in the comment section below. You don't have to do anything. If you want a shout out, I'm more than happy to give it to you in the next debate video. Now for this shout out, you will find it in the description and in the comment section below. But without further ado, let's begin with the video. So as I said, this video is going to be based on Godzilla 2017 versus Legendary Space Godzilla. So how this is going to play out is we're going to go over the backstory / origins of Legendary Space Godzilla, and then we'll go over the abilities and everything of the characteristics, so on and so forth. Alright? And then after we're done with that, we'll go over Godzilla 2017 a bit, and then when we're done with both of these two monsters, we will put them into scenarios testing their abilities of them fighting each other. And we'll see if these two kaijus were actually going to fight on the big screen, who would come out as victorious. So without further ado, let's begin! So Legendary Space Godzilla came to be after one of Legendary King Ghidorah's heads was cut off and thrown into space by Godzilla, and this is by Legendary Godzilla, and the head was retrieved by an alien force known as Zenius. The Zenius alien force took the saliva of Ghidorah and mixed it with the saliva of Biollante, as Biollante resides with the Zenius after leaving to space when she defeated Godzilla. Even though she didn't kill him, but she did win the battle. Biollante having Godzilla DNA mixed with Ghidorah DNA, the Zenius alien force created something even more powerful known as Legendary Space Godzilla. Dun dun dun. So that's the backstory I came up with. I think it's pretty cool. Alright, so the height of Legendary Space Godzilla is 319 meters tall. Abilities: crystal gravity. Okay, excuse me, I'll say this again one more time. The abilities, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the abilities really quick. I'm going to go skim over them right now. We'll go over everything else of Legendary Space Godzilla, and then we'll come back to the abilities and we'll do a deep analysis, and I'll explain them one by one so you understand each and every ability of Legendary Space Godzilla. Alright, so let's go. Abilities are Crystal Gravity, Breath of Nothingness, Triple Head, Vine Jaws, Focused Crown Lasers, Planet 76B Shield. Alright. Aggression is high. Territorial, yes. Biome unlimited capacity. I will explain that in the ability section when we go back to it. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, so now let's get back to the abilities and I'll explain everything, including that unlimited capacity for the biome. Now, crystal gravity is basically, you know how Legendary, so Space Godzilla in general has crystals, and Legendary Space Godzilla still has those remaining crystals, excuse me, on the shoulders, right? So crystal gravity, what's gonna do is he can defy gravity and actually fly up into the sky, or however depth he wants to go, 200, 300, 400 meters he wants to fly up. That's up to his discretion. He can fly as much as he wants, but also he can cancel gravity for his opponent and lift his opponent up too. And most of the time, some opponents can't fly, so it's a new thing to them, and they're gonna be vulnerable to Space Godzilla's attacks. Okay, Breath of Nothingness. Now this is very interesting. This is what the Zenius aliens did when they engineered Legendary Space Godzilla. The Breath of Nothingness allows Space Godzilla to live without breathing. It totally defies biology, which is something I love. It's something different, something in the abyss. Legendary Space Godzilla can live without oxygen or anything. He has a breath of nothingness, meaning he's He's okay if you cut his lungs off, but he doesn't have any. And so that explains the biome. You know, most places, biomes depend on breathing and how the format is. For example, some animals can't breathe, can't live in more deeper places because of like the pressure of the air, for example, right? And in this case, Legendary Space Godzilla can go and live and stay in anywhere, anytime, right? Because he doesn't need anything to keep himself alive. As long as his heart beats, his heart doesn't need any oxygen. So that is a huge ability. And guess what? He doesn't need oxygen. Well, most living creatures get tired and they need oxygen to kind of refill their energy, right? Well, he doesn't need oxygen, so meaning he technically never gets tired as well. So that's really, really, really good for him. Really bad for his opponent. Okay, triple head. Now this is interesting because he also, he has a DNA of King Ghidorah, right? So if he wants to, whenever he can split his head into 3 heads. A 3-headed Space Godzilla. That's creepy. He can do that. Also, he has vine jaws. Don't forget he has Biollante's DNA in him as well. And vine jaws means from his torso, 12 vines. You know how Biollante has those vines coming out of her? Well, same thing. It's the same vines coming out of his torso, and they have jaws. They can grab onto his opponent, and they can even electrify the opponent. So that's very, very interesting. Now, focused crown lasers. Now, this is very interesting because, as we all know, Legendary Space Godzilla, or any Space Godzilla, has a crown on the top of his head, and that crown symbolizes the royalty of this monster. Now, he has a focused laser. Now, what does it mean by focus? What's the difference between a regular laser or a regular atomic breath compared to a focused crown laser? Well, atomic breath is going all over the place sometimes. You know, most of the times it will get its opponent, but all the energy is not getting focused on the opponent. Now, the focused laser is going to be 100%. Imagine 100% of that laser is getting focused on that opponent. 100% of the power of that atomic breath is getting focused on that opponent. It is a huge damage causer and a huge advantage to Legendary Space Godzilla and a huge disadvantage to his opponent. And last but not least, we have the Planet 76B shield. Now, Planet 76B is where the Zenius aliens reside in or live in. That's their home planet out of our solar system, out of the solar system of Earth, obviously. And usually, their planet does not have a nighttime. And they run on solar. Everything is solar. And they transfer that solar energy to Legendary Space Godzilla to activate a shield. And if there's never a nighttime at Planet 76B, meaning that solar energy is always constantly running, it's always there, the power is always there. So even if it's nighttime here at Earth, when he's battling his opponent, that shield is activated 24/7 because it's getting transmitted from Planet 76B, which never has a nighttime, and they have their own sun. Whoa, that's a lot of information. Okay, well that sums up Legendary Space Godzilla for you. That's it. Now let's get into Godzilla Earth, or you could call him Godzilla 2017, however you guys like it. Okay, now first of all, let me just introduce the guy. He is the biggest Godzilla of all time. Of all time, and now that may change when the Toho Cinematic Universe comes. Maybe we're gonna use Shin Godzilla, a bigger version of him, or a new Godzilla. We're gonna find out. But for now, he is the biggest and baddest Godzilla of all time. He is humongous. He is he is the most powerful Godzilla at the moment. So basically, he's at top of the food chain. All right, he is on top of the food chain. So, giving that at that, let's go over some abilities that Godzilla Earth has that is gonna help him in this battle. I became an English person for a second for you right there. So the first thing I'm gonna go over is he has something called a charged particle breath. A charged particle breath is just like an atomic breath, right? It's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is it's more focused and it's much more stronger than a regular atomic breath. The charged particle breath, not an atomic breath, so it has more electrons and protons kind of battling each other, you know, putting positive and negatives on each other and giving out more force of energy to the opponent or whatever it's hitting. Now, following that, he has something very close to that again, but it's called the red spiral particle breath, which is just like the charged atomic breath or the charged particle breath. It's just like the charged particle breath, and this one is just like this. It's just like the breath of which you saw in the gameplay. It's just like Burning Godzilla's or 1995's atomic breath, and it's again just like that. You just saw it's more stronger than Godzilla 1995's breath, obviously, but it's just like that. That's how it looks. It's like a red atomic breath, but again, it's very, very powerful. You know, he has an electromagnetic pulse, which is pretty much a long way of saying EMP, which shuts down electronic stuff. For example, it would shut down planes, cars, it would even shut down, right here, it would shut down Kiryu if they were actually battling. Okay, now continuing. Unless this is a quick movie reference, unless he goes crazy and the bones of 1954 start activating again, as we all saw. Now, he does have an electromagnetic shield, which is an EMP shield. The shield made of EMP, but also gives out EMP. So it's a two-way ability, which is a very, very interesting thing. He does have a electromagnetic underwater booster, but it's of no use to him because we're not going to be battling underwater with this battle. But if he was battling, for example, Titanosaurus, that would have been a very, very powerful ability. Very, very powerful ability. But continuing from that, he does have an instant tissue regeneration. Now what that means, ultimately, an instant tissue regeneration is saying if he gets, you know, wounded in any way, he can quickly, you know, get back up to his feet and protect himself, which is a very, very powerful ability. And I'm trying to go over these abilities and play at the same time. Not a good idea. Now, he does actually have a lack of skeletal frame, and what that means is it's gonna help him maneuver better into like, for example, if you're fighting an opponent and you have a lack of skeletal frame, you know, obviously the spine kind of gives you the ability to move, but also limits your ability on what you can and cannot do. Now, having the lack of skeletal frame, he can maneuver better. He has more flexibility. That's what I was looking to say. That's much more flexibility, which is very, very obviously useful to him, and not useful to his opponent. He also does have metallic tissue fibers. Now, metallic tissue fibers pretty much I'm not going to go into the scientifics of this, but what it pretty much means is his skin is very, very hard to penetrate. And we'll finish it off with an oscillatory wave. And an oscillatory wave is just like an atomic blast. Excuse me. A sonic boom. Excuse me. You know when like those F-50, I don't know, those army planes or whatever you want to call them. I'm not a plane enthusiast. They give out these plane bombs, and when they fly, you can see like a boom, like a quick sonic blast from the planes. That's what it pretty much is. Like, it's like a quick sonic blast. Okay, we are complete with Godzilla Earth and Legendary Space Godzilla. Now, the fun part, what we've all been waiting for, we can go and put these two kaijus into battle. Now, for sake of this video, we're gonna go up to two. We're gonna go close range, far range. For far range, you're gonna stand at 700 meters apart. They're not gonna get closer, so we're gonna rate them off their abilities. Close range is going to be strength as well, because they're going to be fighting, face to face fighting, and yeah, close range and far range. On rare occasions, if there is a tie, we'll go into overtime. I'm not going to explain it to waste time here. If it gets to overtime, I will go ahead and explain what we're going to do. But for now, let's begin with far range, because it's a less practical fight. Usually monsters will like to go face to face. So let's begin with far range, and then we'll move on into close range. Let's begin. So first of all, let's look at our main opponent here, Legendary Space Godzilla. Now, what can Legendary Space Godzilla can or cannot do based off of his abilities? Let's rate them now. Now, Crystal Gravity Beam. Crystal Gravity. Yeah, it's not gonna give him too much. Actually, yes, and I'll explain why. I take that back. He can use that. That's a very, very, very good ability. Crystal Gravity. Now, Breath of Nothingness, well, that's not really based off of how far you are, it's just how he lives, so you could say yes to that, really. But it's nothing too special, right? Okay. Now, Triple Head ability, again, yeah, he could use that and then start attacking his opponent, yes. Vine Jaws, no, it's not going to reach 700 meters, so Vine Jaws is going to be a no-no. Vine Jaws will be a no-no. Focus Crown Lasers, yeah, they're meant to go far, so it's acceptable. And Planet 76B Shield, again, doesn't matter, it's just a shield, so we're gonna say, yes. Yes! Okay. Alright, that was pretty stupid, I'm sorry for saying that. Okay. Okay. So, far range with his opponent from Godzilla Earth. So what's Godzilla Earth gonna do? The main stuff, Godzilla Earth doesn't have these fancy abilities, he's like a regular Godzilla. So what he can do is he can use all of his atomic breaths, he will definitely activate his shield, but I don't see him a reason to activate his shield if they're on offense. Same for Legendary Space Godzilla, he shouldn't activate his shield when they're on offense. They are going at each other at 700 meters apart. So the first thing that Godzilla Earth is going to do is going to send a warning battle, I'm guessing, a warning fire. But he'll use a charged particle breath, for example, and ignite the skin of Legendary Space Godzilla, which Legendary Space Godzilla is going to, at this point, understand that, okay, Godzilla Earth is not playing games and he is hostile. Now, what can Legendary Space Godzilla do to prevent him from dying from, well, the attacks of Godzilla Earth? Well, let's see. He could do a focus crown laser to Godzilla Earth, but again, Godzilla Earth has instant tissue regeneration, which is definitely going to quickly regenerate back. So, what's gonna quickly happen here is, I think that even though all of these interesting abilities that Legendary Space Godzilla has, I personally think, especially from a far range standpoint, I think that Godzilla Earth has a more standing edge when it comes to abilities here, especially because most of Legendary Space Godzilla, Legendary, I'll say right, Legendary Space Godzilla's abilities will shine more in a a close range perspective. I think far range, whatever happens, I think Godzilla Earth has it in the cake, because he's just protecting himself with his instant tissue regeneration. He's going to be sending all of these charged particle breaths and red spiral atomic breaths, and he could even do a Scarlet Godzilla and just send blasts of EMP at him, which is going to hit him. I think that at this point, looking at the abilities, I think I'm going to give 1-0 in favor of Godzilla Earth. Okay, so let's go to close range, face to face. Now, face to face, I personally think Legendary Space Godzilla is going to shine in this battle. And I'll tell you why. He is massive. Now, he's actually, I think he's the same, 319, he's actually, I believe, the same height. After Planet Eater, Godzilla Earth got taller, I think he's the same height as Godzilla Earth now. And, you know, the height here, but Legendary Space Godzilla is much more fat and much more, filled up, much more chunky than Godzilla. So that is a huge advantage right there. Now, all of this stuff he can use against them, right? Now, at this point, you know, we're gonna know he's losing. So Godzilla, Legendary Space Godzilla, is obviously gonna activate the King Ghidorah DNA, and he's gonna create 3 heads. 3 heads means 3 times of the focused crown laser. That's gonna be bombarding Godzilla Earth. And now there's to a point, right? It's to a point where that instant tissue regeneration is gonna serve Godzilla Earth, right? And he can exactly right when he does the 3-headed thing, the 3-headed Ghidorah, and sends out the focused crown lasers. He can also activate the Biollante DNA, and he can send out a quick vine jaws and grapple on to Godzilla Earth's skin, electrify him, and also sink into his flesh. And he could just keep on going at that, keep on going on. I think he will wear down Godzilla Earth, bite that from the close range, and will take him down. So yeah. So I'm gonna have to give 1-0 for. I'm gonna have to tie it to 1-1 for close range. So 1-1 is thing. So oh my goodness, we're going to overtime now. So we're gonna go to overtime, yes. So overtime, what we're gonna do is there's no battle left, so we're gonna go strictly over the abilities. And so Godzilla Earth abilities, I'm not gonna go over them because they're a lot, and I already did, so we already know what they are. And Space Godzilla or Legendary Space Godzilla is much less, so I'm just gonna go over his, and then we're gonna do an honest rating, and you know who would at the end of the day come out on top. So Legendary Space Godzilla starts off with again Crystal Gravity. Breath of Nothingness, Triple Head ability, Vine Jaws ability, Focused Crown Lasers, and Planet 76B Shield. So, to be honest with you guys, this is a very difficult one because both of these kaijus are they both have very good abilities that actually serve them well in many ways. And Godzilla Earth has many abilities as well that serve him well. And I am really who should I give it to? This is really a difficult one. I wasn't prepared. I really didn't think these guys are gonna be tied. Wow. And I think I'm gonna go with a no winner, really. Wow. One last try. These are really good abilities. That Space Godzilla has. Literally, it's gonna help him a lot. With the Planet 76B shield and non-stop shield when he wants to activate it, it's just undefeatable. Undefeatable. And let's say with Godzilla Earth. Alright guys, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to give a no winner. I'm gonna have to tie it again. There will be a no winner for this debate battle. I do not see a winner. I don't think this has ever happened, ever in any of my videos history, but I just do not see a winner. But, you know, again, this is just my opinion, so if you guys see it in a different way, I will leave Legendary Space Godzilla's abilities and all the abilities in the description below, so you guys can do your own debate if you guys want to in the comment section below. Let me know if you guys think who you guys think would win, but most importantly, leave requests in the comment section below. What debate would you guys like to see next? Also, if you guys would like your own shout out, leave it in the comment section below. Just ask for a shout out and I am more than happy to give you a shout out. You don't have to do anything. I just like to help people out, you know. Shout outs, why not? In the next debate video. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. It has been really fun doing this video. And as always, have a wonderful day.